Welcome, fantabulous souls, to Psychically Speaking. I'm Psychic Lisa Ann, your host on this transformative journey of body, mind, and spirit. Join me, a psychic medium and healer, as we explore the wonders of life, share experiences, and grow together. Whether you're new to spirituality, an old soul, an empath, or a seasoned professional, this podcast has something special just for you. So let's dive in and embark on a journey of learning, healing, and personal growth together. Today was an absolutely beautiful day outside. Wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold, and I had the entire afternoon off, so I decided to do a little gardening. Let me just tell you something. If you truly want to know how out of shape you are, just do a little gardening, because I got to be honest, I can't move. Luckily, we have one of those biomats that we have at the shop. We have them at home. So my butt will be getting on there as soon as I'm done with this podcast tonight. So for those of you who aren't familiar, the Richway biomats are actually very cool. They're amethyst-filled mats, and they work with infrared technology. So the heat on those mats penetrates your body 6 to 8 inches, and it helps to improve your circulation, which in turn reduces inflammation, helping with joint pain, muscle pain. And we have 2 of them. For those of you who have been at the shop in Southern Pines, North Carolina, you've seen them. We have 2 of them at the shop, but it's funny because Kyle and I use them so much that we actually wind up getting one for our home, and we use it all the time. So I will definitely be hopping on there before I go to bed tonight. But anyway, I digress. So I was doing gardening today, and as I was pulling weeds and trimming bushes and doing my thing, I thought to myself, oh, you know what? I remember this awesome blog that I did years ago based on weeding. And I thought, I have got to go dig that up and find it. So I was able to find it, and it's such a great topic for this moment that we're in the world where everybody is kind of feeling overwhelmed. So I wanted to share it with you. So come take a stroll down memory lane with me. We are going to go, I believe this was like 2005 or 6, I'm thinking, around there. Anyway, the blog was called The Wonders of Weeding, and here we go. Today was day 2 of taking my gardens back. I'm ashamed to say that I've totally neglected them this year, and the front of my house was looking like an abandoned home. Now, let me just tell you that these were not those cute little weeds that you could just lean over and slip out of the dirt. No, these were those horrific grass-looking weeds. You know, the ones that you need to dig out with a shovel, properly position your body for balance, and yank them out of the ground with all of your might. And did I mention it was over 90 degrees today? My arms were killing me from the half-hour swimming competition I stupidly challenged my 16-year-old daughter to the day before. And I was still achy from the 4 hours of shrub trimming I also did the day before. I have to tell you, I was getting extremely frustrated, and honestly, I was about to give up. For some reason, maybe because I'm insane and always looking for the lesson in my experiences, I started to pay attention to the way I was working through the garden. I wasn't looking at the entire garden that needed to be done because that was just too damn overwhelming. Instead, I was sitting barefoot in the grass, only focusing on the section that was right in front of me. Little by little, I worked my way around the garden, never focusing on how much I had left. I only focused on what I had done and how beautiful it looked. Just for the record, I am a get down in the dirt, gloves off, no shoes, play in the mud girl. One of my favorite things to do as a child was to make mud pies. Shocking, I know. As I was weeding, I was thinking about how awesome it feels to have your hands in the dirt. And then I thought, grabbing a hold of these weeds and yanking them out of the ground feels pretty good too. With each weed I pulled, I started to think about a different situation or person that had been causing me stress of late. I started to focus on the struggle it took to get that darn weed out, and then the absolute relief I felt when it was finally gone. I noticed how I paid extra close attention to the roots. Because let's face it, if you don't get those suckers out, those weeds will be back by morning. And that's when it hit me. Weeding is a great metaphor for life. Sometimes weeds take over our lives. Sometimes we are so busy with other things that we just don't feel we have the strength to deal with them. When we do finally make the time to deal with them, it takes a lot of effort to get them out. But in the end, it's all well worth it. Once the weeds are gone, we have more space in our garden to bring in the beautiful flowers. Those flowers then bring us great joy and beauty. Still not following? Let me break it down for you non-gardeners. Weeds are like the toxic situations or people in our lives. They tend to creep in slowly, and before we realize it, they take all of our energy and focus. Many of us tend to ignore them until they overtake us. It can be a big struggle to get them out of our lives, but we cannot make room for the healthy experiences or relationships if we are always surrounded by unhealthy and toxic ones. Yes, it can be overwhelming to fix everything in our lives at one time, but much easier when you break it down one situation, one person at a time. What is even more amazing is the fact that as you start to rid yourself of toxic situations and people in your life, you then open yourself up to wonderful, caring, healthy, and rewarding experiences and relationships. As I was pondering all of this, I couldn't help but think about the cycle of the garden itself and how that directly applies to our lives as well. Any gardener will tell you that you just don't plant your garden and then it's good to go forever. Each year, you need to pull the weeds and prepare the ground, and then you plant, and then you reap the rewards of the beautiful flowers. You have to do this continually if you want to keep that beautiful garden. But how many of us live our lives like gardeners? How many of us constantly tend to our own lives? And how many of us are always on the lookout for those weeds? There is only one thing that is constant in life, and that is change. We're always changing and growing and learning, and we need to continually be on the lookout for weeds or toxic situations and people that may be invading our garden. We need to be strong, courageous enough to pull or toss them out. It isn't always easy, and yes, it can be a time-consuming, sweaty job. However, if you just focus on one section, one situation, one person at a time, before you know it, your life will be like a garden filled with beauty and happiness. So that is my story and the lesson I learned about the wonders of weeding. My garden now looks great. The stress I released was incredible, and I got a tan. P.S. Just in case you were wondering, I lost the half-hour swimming competition to my daughter. I am 43 and she is a certified lifeguard. What the heck was I thinking? Oh, and one final gardening tip. It is really wonderful to picture each weed you pull as a situation or person that is causing you stress. Happy weeding. So that is my taking a walk down memory lane, my blog from many, many years ago, The Wonders of Weeding. If you want to know how many years ago, in that blog, it said I was 43. I'm now 57. So that was quite some time ago. But it's so amazing because the lesson, the experience is still so valuable all these years later. So I hope you enjoyed the wonders of weeding, and go make a beautiful garden for yourself, and happy weeding. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with a friend and hit subscribe. For more about my free live weekly happy hour via Zoom, my work, or visiting my Body, Mind, Spirit spa and gift shop in historic downtown Southern Pines, North Carolina, visit spiritquestnc.com. Remember, life isn't always rainbows and butterflies, but each and every day you have the power to be fantabulous. Embrace that power. Let your inner light shine. Until next time, stay empowered and keep embracing life's magic.